What would you do if the man you promised forever to simply walked away on your wedding day, without a word, without a reason, without a trace? Imagine standing there in front of your family and friends, expecting the happiest moment of your life, only to find yourself alone, surrounded by questions that refuse to be answered. The celebration turns silent. The joy fades into confusion, then fear. This isn't just a story about a missing groom. It's about secrets hiding beneath smiles, whispers carried on the wind, and a mystery that has baffled an entire community. There are no clear answers, no obvious suspects, only the slow unraveling of a day that should have been perfect, but was anything but. If you're drawn to true crime stories that go beyond the surface, revealing the unexpected twists and real human pain behind the headlines, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story like this. Because some mysteries don't just haunt a family, they haunt us all. The story unfolds in a quiet town nestled in Canada, the kind of place where the days move slowly, and the people take care of one another. It's a town where neighbors greet each other on the street, children play freely in yards, and the rhythm of life feels steady and familiar. Everyone here knows each other's stories, or so they think. It was in this town that a wedding was planned, one that promised to bring joy not just to two people, but to the entire community. The bride and groom were seen as a hopeful pair, their relationship a symbol of new beginnings. Friends and family had spent months preparing for this special day, decorating halls, arranging flowers, and sharing stories about the happy couple. But on the day the vows were meant to be spoken, something happened that no one could have predicted. The groom vanished without a word. The moment that should have marked the start of a lifelong partnership became the beginning of a mystery that would shake the town to its core. What was supposed to be a day of celebration turned into confusion and heartbreak, leaving the bride alone in front of a crowd that watched in stunned silence. Questions started to swirl like a storm. Why did he leave? What was going on behind the smiles and perfect photographs? Was there something about the groom that no one really knew? This story is not just about a man disappearing on his wedding day. It is about betrayal, not just the kind you expect, but the kind that comes wrapped in secrets and lies, hidden beneath years of carefully built trust. It is about family tensions, old wounds reopened by an event that tore through the surface of their lives and left raw, unanswered questions behind. It is about a relentless investigation that searched for truth in shadows, digging through evidence, memories, and half-truths, only to uncover more puzzles than answers. As the days turned into weeks, and the investigation pressed forward, it became clear that this was no ordinary disappearance. The groom's past, once thought quiet and unremarkable, began to reveal strange cracks. There were rumors, whispered stories from people who had known him before, moments he had kept hidden even from those closest to him. The community that had once celebrated the couple now found itself divided, unsure whom to believe and what to trust. The story was layered, like peeling back an onion, each new piece exposed something unexpected, something darker. The mystery went beyond the man who walked away. It was a puzzle of relationships, secrets, and choices that forced everyone involved to question everything they thought they knew. This was never just a missing groom. It was a story about the fragility of trust, the weight of hidden truths, and how one day can change lives forever. The quiet town was left holding its breath, waiting for answers that seemed to slip further away with each passing hour. Jonathan Reed was 32 years old, known in town as a charming man with a ready smile and a way of making people feel at ease. He worked in real estate, a field where he had found success and respect. Many admired his confidence and the way he carried himself. To most, Jonathan seemed to have everything together: a good job, a loving fiancée, and a future full of promise. But beneath the surface, Jonathan carried burdens he rarely shared. Those close to him noticed moments of quiet worry, times when he seemed distant or preoccupied. He was well liked but held parts of himself tightly locked away, things no one really understood. Emily Saunders was 29, a school teacher known for her kindness and dedication to her students. She was the kind of person who brightened a room simply by being in it. Emily had grown up in the town, surrounded by a family that valued honesty and hard work. She had met Jonathan a few years earlier, and their relationship blossomed quickly. She was excited for what lay ahead, hoping for a fresh start and a lifetime of happiness. To her, Jonathan was the man she wanted to share her life with, and she trusted him completely. The day of the wedding was supposed to be a dream come true. Emily's family was close-knit, protective, and careful with their love. They had watched the couple's relationship grow but held concerns about Jonathan that they never fully voiced. Some remembered stories from his past that didn't quite add up, whispers of struggles he had faced quietly. They wanted to believe in the future, but part of them wondered if Jonathan was truly ready for the life ahead. His past was a shadow in the room, something no one could fully explain but everyone felt. Jonathan's father was a man who had been distant for many years. Estranged and wrapped in his own regrets, he carried unresolved tensions that stretched back long before the wedding day. Their relationship had been strained by years of silence and misunderstandings, leaving behind wounds that neither had fully healed. His father's absence in Jonathan's life added another layer to the mystery, questions about what kind of childhood Jonathan had and what demons he might have faced alone. Several people were key to understanding that day. The best man, someone Jonathan had known since childhood, was loyal but troubled by what he saw on the wedding day. The maid of honor, Emily's closest friend, had a front row seat to the growing unease. The wedding planner, who had worked with dozens of couples, remembered small details others missed. And then there was a neighbor, a quiet observer who noticed something strange in the hours leading up to the disappearance. Each held pieces of the puzzle, some hidden even from themselves. Leading the investigation was Detective Olivia Grant, a woman with a reputation for sharp attention to detail and a calm determination. She had worked on many cases, but few had felt as personal or puzzling as this one. Her approach was patient but relentless, knowing that sometimes the smallest clue could break open the toughest mystery. Olivia listened carefully to everyone involved, piecing together stories and evidence, trying to find the truth hidden beneath layers of confusion and fear. Each person in this story carried their own struggles and hopes, woven together in a web that no one expected would unravel so suddenly. Understanding them was key to understanding what really happened on a day that started full of promise but ended in silence. The wedding took place on a warm summer afternoon at a beautiful estate just outside the town, a place known for its sprawling gardens and elegant halls. The sun shone gently through the trees, casting soft light on the guests who had gathered to witness the union of Jonathan and Emily. Flowers decorated every corner, and laughter filled the air as friends and family mingled in celebration. The ceremony was heartfelt, with vows exchanged and promises made in front of everyone who mattered most to them. For a moment, everything seemed perfect, like a scene from a storybook. After the ceremony ended, the reception began in the grand hall, filled with music, dancing, and joyful chatter. Tables were set with delicate linens and sparkling glasses. Emily's smile was bright as she mingled with guests, and Jonathan was there too, at least for a while. As the evening progressed, something began to feel off. Jonathan, who had been lively earlier, suddenly became quiet and withdrawn. He excused himself from the crowd, saying he needed a moment alone, but he never returned. The moment stretched longer and longer, until people started to notice his absence. Emily waited, hopeful that Jonathan would come back at any moment. The crowd's chatter slowed as whispers spread, "Where was the groom?" The best man was sent to look for him, but there was no sign. The wedding planner checked the nearby rooms and the gardens, but Jonathan had vanished without a trace. Confusion grew into worry. Phones were checked. Calls were made. Still, no word. The next morning, the mystery deepened. Jonathan's car was found abandoned on a quiet road miles from the venue, parked strangely by the side without any sign of damage. Inside, his wallet and keys were missing, as if he had left hurriedly but carefully. No signs of a struggle. No clues as to where he had gone. The silence around his disappearance grew heavy, and the people closest to him were left grasping for answers. Family and friends were stunned. Emily's parents looked on with disbelief and fear, unsure how to comfort their daughter in the midst of such an impossible situation. Jonathan's friends were left wondering if they had missed warning signs or ignored something important. The community, once filled with celebration, was now caught in a web of shock and uncertainty. What could cause a man to vanish on the most important day of his life? Was it pressure from his past, a secret he wanted to escape? Financial troubles whispered behind closed doors, rumors of debts that he never shared. There were even whispers about hidden relationships, people Jonathan had kept far from Emily's sight. And some feared that something darker, something no one wanted to imagine, might be at play. As the investigation began, strange details surfaced. Emily started receiving mysterious phone calls late at night, numbers she didn't recognize, voices that hung in silence when she answered. Then came the strange texts, short, confusing messages that gave no clear meaning but left her unsettled. No one knew who was reaching out to her or why, but it was clear that the mystery was far from over. With every new lead, the story grew more complicated, pulling everyone deeper into a puzzle that refused to be solved quickly. The disappearance of Jonathan Reed was no longer just a sudden absence, it was the beginning of something that would challenge everyone's understanding of the truth. The moment it became clear Jonathan was missing for more than just a few hours, Emily's worry turned into panic. She made the call no one ever wants to make, a frantic 911 call that sent police rushing to the scene. Her voice trembled as she explained the situation, how Jonathan had disappeared during their own wedding celebration. The officers arrived quickly, taking in the stunned expressions of the guests and the quiet halls where laughter had just moments before filled the air. Detective Olivia Grant was assigned to the case, arriving with a steady calm that contrasted the chaos around her. She began by talking to Emily and the closest witnesses, carefully piecing together the timeline of that day. Her team searched every corner of the venue and surrounding grounds, looking for any sign of Jonathan. The detective's eyes missed nothing, noting small details others overlooked, a misplaced shoe, an open door, footprints in the garden soil. Attention soon turned to Jonathan's car. It was found abandoned, miles away, but the forensic team arrived to carefully examine it. They searched for fingerprints, fibers, and anything that could offer a clue. Meanwhile, detectives began reviewing phone records, hoping to trace Jonathan's last calls or texts. Surveillance footage from nearby shops and streets was gathered, revealing blurry images of people and cars but no clear indication of where Jonathan had gone or if he was forced to leave. The investigation quickly became complex. A witness reported seeing a man leaving town around the same time, someone who matched Jonathan's description, but the lead went cold when the man couldn't be found. Rumors started to swirl about a heated argument Jonathan had with someone just days before the wedding. Was it a lover, a business partner, or someone from his past? These questions filled police reports but brought little clarity. The story caught the attention of the local media, and soon the disappearance was in the headlines. Reporters painted Jonathan as a man possibly running away from troubles he had tried to hide. Speculation grew louder, and the once private pain became a public mystery. Friends and family found themselves under a harsh spotlight, forced to defend their memories of Jonathan while facing rumors and judgment. Then, an unexpected piece fell into place. Jonathan's estranged father stepped forward with a cryptic statement, hinting at family secrets buried long ago. He refused to say much, but what he did say suggested there was more beneath the surface than anyone had imagined. This revelation added a new layer to the investigation, questions about Jonathan's childhood, his relationships, and what he might have been running from, if anything at all. Despite all the efforts, the investigation faced challenges. Legal rules limited what the police could do with some of the evidence. Privacy laws slowed access to certain records. Some witnesses were reluctant to talk, fearing what their words might bring. Detective Grant and her team worked tirelessly, but the path to truth was blocked at times by silence and dead ends. The case stretched on, each day bringing fresh questions but few answers. The disappearance of Jonathan Reed was no longer just a local story, it had become a deep, tangled mystery that left everyone searching for a light in the darkness. Despite the many hours spent searching, despite every lead chased and every question asked, Jonathan Reed was never found. Days turned into weeks, and then months, but no sign of him surfaced. There was no body, no message, no explanation. The town waited anxiously for answers that never came, and slowly, hope began to fade. Because Jonathan's disappearance remained a mystery, no one was charged with a crime. The police could only list him as missing, and the case settled into a quiet place of uncertainty. Without proof of what happened, the question of whether he was alive or dead remained unanswered, a question that haunted everyone who knew him. Theories swirled endlessly. Some believed Jonathan had fled to escape debts and problems he couldn't face. There were rumors he owed money to people who might want him gone, though no solid evidence ever appeared. Others thought he might have been a victim of foul play, that someone had harmed him to cover up a secret or protect their own interests. And then there were those who wondered if someone close to him, maybe even someone at the wedding, had played a part in his disappearance. These questions remained open, twisting through conversations and news reports without ever being resolved. For Emily, the impact was devastating. She was left without closure, caught between heartbreak and confusion. The community, once united in celebration, became divided, with people unsure whom to trust or what to believe. Families were pulled apart by suspicion and fear, and the story that began as a joyful wedding day became a painful reminder of how fragile life can be. The investigation continued for some time but eventually slowed, turning into a cold case. Detectives kept the files open, hoping that one day, new evidence or a witness would come forward to bring answers. But for now, the disappearance of Jonathan Reed remained one of the most baffling and painful mysteries the town had ever faced, a question mark hanging over lives forever changed. Cases like this one leave a heavy weight on everyone involved. Families are left without answers, their lives caught in a state of endless waiting. Every day brings the same questions, the same hope that somehow, something will change. The pain of not knowing is deep and hard to explain. It reaches beyond the missing person to touch those who loved them, those who planned a future together, and even the wider community that shared in their joy before the silence fell. Trust is broken in ways that are difficult to repair because it's not just about what happened, it's about what might have happened, about secrets and doubts that linger long after the facts fade. How well can we really know someone? We often think we understand the people closest to us, but stories like this remind us that even those we love may hold parts of themselves hidden away. Could you live with the uncertainty that comes from never knowing what happened, never hearing the truth? For Emily, and for so many others, that question is a daily struggle. It's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving and that human lives are far more complex than they seem on the surface. This story teaches us to look deeper, to question what we assume, and to remember that every person carries unseen stories. It is a call to hold compassion for those caught in the unknown, and to understand that sometimes, the greatest mysteries are the ones closest to home. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story, one of the most puzzling and heartbreaking mysteries to come out of Canada's quiet towns. Your attention means a lot, especially when the truth feels so hard to find. If this story made you think or left you with questions, please take a moment to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your ideas and theories, because sometimes it's through many voices that the full picture begins to come together. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more true crime stories that are carefully researched and told with respect for everyone involved. Next week, we will bring you another case, one that dives even deeper into darkness and mystery. It's a disappearance that will challenge what you think you know, so be sure not to miss it. Until then, stay safe and keep seeking the truth.